Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Igor and I'm clinical oncologist practicing since 2010. Earlier we were talking about microbiome or our intestinal microflora. That is considered to be an additional organ of our body because it controls our entire body. There is a clear link between the intestines and their brain. It can even control our mood, the work of our heart, of internal organs. It regulates our immunity, inflammation, and microbiota abnormalities can lead to a huge number of health problems. Patients keep visiting doctors, but nothing helps them. They have lots of different signs and symptoms, but in fact the problem is in the intestines and in intestinal bacteria. If you have not seen the full video, please take a look. And today we talk about the simple 8 steps to support your microbiome. Let's get started. It's important to have the right balance between bacteria, because if we, for example, reduce the level of some bacteria by taking antibiotics, then other bacteria may begin to grow, and it will lead to a disbalance. Plus, many distinguish the concept of good and bad bacteria, and accordingly, if the balance is disturbed, the health problems arise. And the first thing to do is to give up the intake of sugar and reduce the amount of carbohydrates, because this can cause an imbalance in the intestines, manifested by processes of fermentation, gas formation, bloating, and so on. Secondly, genetically modified foods may contain gluten. For example, wheat from which bread is made is mostly genetically modified nowadays. It is of lower, let's say, height, it is less exposed to the wind, and plus it's more tenacious and more productive, but there is a lot of gluten in it, which causes inflammation in the intestines and imbalance in the microbiome. And if inflammation starts, then different garbage, toxins will be absorbed through the wall because there is increased permeability, so-called leaky gut. Accordingly, this leads to many problems ranging from skin problems, headache, heart problems, allergy-like manifestations, etc. Of course, it's almost impossible to completely abandon gluten, but at least it is important to consume less of it. Next point, consumption of fats is good for health. It's best to choose olive oil or flaxseed oil. Other types of oils can increase inflammation because they contain a lot of omega-6 fatty acids. And also animal fats should be included. The fourth step, you need to give up processed meat, sausages and smoked meats, various kinds of pickled products, canned food. All these products contain preservatives. And everything containing preservatives is harmful to intestinal bacteria, because preservatives are aimed at preventing bacteria from multiplying so that the product doesn't spoil. Then these preservatives get into you and me and cause the problems with bacteria. The fifth, alcohol. We know that alcohol is an effective sterilizer. Accordingly, when it gets into the body, it can kill bacteria. Plus, it increases the permeability of intestinal wall, facilitating the absorption of various toxins from the intestine. The sixth, it is necessary to introduce eggs and meat products into your diet. The seventh, chloride in tap water. Chloride is also added into water in order to restrain growth of bacteria in it. And when ingested, it can also harm the microbiome. Therefore, the water must first be settled so the chloride disappears. And the eighth point, last but not the least, this is intake of certain medications. I am not even talking about antibiotics, which of course disrupt the balance of bacteria, but I am also talking about painkillers, anti-inflammatory drugs, proton pump blockers that block the production of hydrochloric acid and are often prescribed by doctors, as well as often uncontrollably used by patients. Many people have been taking some medicines like omeprazole, pantoprazole, and other medications aimed to decrease hydrochloric acid production in stomach. But it is worth noting that hydrochloric acid exists in the stomach for a reason. In addition to the fact that it is needed for the digestion of food, It is also an antibacterial barrier. And by the way, some antidepressants can also lead to the microbiome damage. In general, now the concept of microbiome is an absolute puzzle, because there are no two people with the same microbiome. Besides, the microbiome of any person can change in the course of time. Based on some studies, it makes no sense to do fecal culture at all, because it doesn't reflect what is really happening in the human intestine. Well, a separate topic is probiotics. We will also talk about it in one of my future videos, because there are disputes about their usefulness and necessity. I think it will be interesting for you and me to study this issue together. Please write in the comments under this video if you are going to try anything we discussed above, or maybe you have already used something. And it would be very interesting to know if anything changed for you after following the above recommendations. I wish you good health, God bless you. Goodbye.